Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. Today we begin the chapter number 3, elements, compounds and mixtures. In this chapter we'll be studying about how the substances are classified into various categories. That is itself the chapter name. The first one, we can classify the substances in the form of elements. Second will be compounds and third as mixtures. We will be focusing on all of these in this chapter. Today's video will be focused on what are elements, what are their various properties and how we can categorize them as well. So here we begin. The substances, each and everything around us is actually made up of matter, and this matter is having two important properties. You already studied about this in the previous chapters, so just a brief recap I will take. Matter is made up of is having two important properties, that is it is occupying some space in the surroundings. It occupies some space, needs some space to be kept. Second thing is it is having certain mass. All the things which are matter actually they need some space, and all of them are having some sort of mass. So that is two important characteristics of the matter. Then we can say that matter is present or existing in three different states, that are solid, liquid as well as gaseous. So this is all about matter. But if we have to classify the substances in different manners, then we can't simply call them as solid, liquid or gas. We need a better classification for that. So that is, we can call them as elements, compounds and mixtures. That depends on the substance of which this matter is made up of. All the different substances are around us, all are matter only, all need some space, all are having some mass. Each and every object or living organism, even our own body, is a form of matter, and it needs some space as well as it is having some mass. But this matter, same substance, can be classified into different manners based upon the substance present in the matter. So that is, we can call as elements, compound and mixtures. So if the things or substances are made up of simple substances, then we can call that particular thing as elements. Secondly, when two or more than two elements they are joining together or combining together, then what will form? Then it will lead to the formation of compounds. So elements are made up of simple substances, and compounds are the combination. When the elements combine together, they will give rise to what is called as compounds. Elements are smaller as well as compared to the compounds, that we can say in rough manner. So that is a broad outline of this, what is element, compound. Then third thing that we naturally observe in the form of mixture, that is, like, we can give an example of air that we are breathing, that is present all around us. It is a mixture of different gases like oxygen, nitrogen and many other gases like CO2. Even water vapor is present in the air. So it is a mixture of different substances. So this is the third type of the substances we will be studying all about in this chapter. So the chapter will focus on how we can classify the substances into different manners, as element, made up of simple substances. Second is compound, that is a combination of different elements only. And thirdly, that is mixtures, formed as a combination of different elements as well as compounds. So that is all a broad outline. We have seen what we are going to learn in this chapter. So let us now come and focus on elements. As I told you in the beginning, today's video is focused only on elements. We'll continue with the later topics in the upcoming videos. So element, what is element? The definition, exact definition, this one you have to mark in your book. I'm putting in a box. This one you have to mark or underline, and you have to learn this. So what is an element? It is any substance that cannot be split into simple substances by chemical means. So some words or certain terms are there, we will focus on that. Any substance, this element can be any substance which cannot be split means we cannot break that thing, we cannot make smaller particles out of that. So if any substance cannot be broken into simple substances by chemical means what? It means chemical reactions using any acids or any of the chemicals. If we are using, then even using this method or by using the chemical reaction method also, we cannot break any element into smaller particles. So simply we can also call that Element is the smallest possible particle of any substance. We cannot break that even more. So that is the definition. You have to remember it. Again, I repeat, any substance which cannot be split into simpler substances by chemical means is known as element. So the chemical means method, different methods are there that already I have told you. Certain examples are given here. Let us now learn this. These are all certain examples. You can learn any one or two out of this. Hydrogen, oxygen, magnesium, iron, copper, gold, many elements are there. All of these are not possible to be split into simpler substances. You take certain oxygen, if you do certain if you try to break that oxygen atom into smaller parts, no, it will not be possible. You take hydrogen, same thing, it cannot be broken into smaller particles. So that is what is called as an element. Now how many elements are there? There are a large number of elements, so exact number is more than 115 elements are known today. Exact number is right now is 118, but we cannot limit it to that because new elements are being discovered regularly. So this number keeps on changing. But if it is asked how many elements are known today, we can just simply mention more than or about 115 elements are known today. Now we will come to the classification of the elements. We can broadly classify the elements into two parts. First category is called as the metals and the second one are called as the non-metals. Some elements are metals, some are non-metals. Now let us learn about this one by one. Metals, like different objects are made of metal around us, like iron is example of metal. So that is what we are going to learn. Second example, you can say copper. I have written Cu, that is copper only. Similarly, you can write gold, that is an example of metal. So all these objects whichever are made up of metals, they are having certain properties, that is due to the presence of metal only. So what are the properties of metals? Let us see. First one is they are having a luster, that is they always shine. All the metals are having a shining in them. Just a minute. Luster means shine. So all the metals are having a characteristic shine. That is what is called as metallic luster. That is the significant properties of all the metallic objects. Second one is they are generally hard solid. All the objects made of metals are generally hard and we can beat them into thin sheets. You would have used aluminium foil paper used to pack the lunch boxes, the food in the lunch box. So that is aluminium. Aluminium is a metal and it is very hard, but when it is regularly beaten, it converts into a simple foil paper. You can easily fold that. So that is one of the property of metal, that we can beat it into thin sheets. And also another property that is given here about metal is it can be drawn into wires. We can convert the same metal into wire also. Aluminium wires are also there. Different electric wires you see on the roadside, between the electric poles by which electricity reaches our homes, that is all those wires are made of aluminium. So now you remember, now earlier I told aluminium foil paper, that is a sheet, and another one now I told is aluminium wires. So same metal aluminium can be converted into sheet as well as wires. So these are certain properties of metals only. Although they are very hard solids, but we can convert them into thin sheets by beating them regularly, and also we can convert them, or we can make wires out of them. Most of all we can say almost all the metals are solid in nature. Only one is an exception here. What is the exception? That you have to learn. Put a mark in your book. Mercury. Mercury is the only single metal that is liquid metal. If it is asked, you will simply write it is mercury. It is present in the thermometers. Inside the thermometers it is present, and it is used to detect the body temperature. So it is the only liquid metal. Other metals all are hard solids. Next one is whenever the metal is being struck by any object, then sound is produced, and sound is called as metallic sound or metallic clink. Like the bell, the ringing of the bell produces sound. That is because the bell is made up of metal. So that is simple thing. So the metal clink is there. Metallic clink is produced. That means sound only by hitting of the object on the metal. Next is heat as well as electric current can pass through the metals. Metals are good conductors of heat as well as electricity. Different utensils in our home are made of metals only because heat can easily transfer. Whatever food you are cooking, it can be cooked properly because metal are good conductors of heat. Similarly, wires, electric wires are made of metals. We talked about aluminium wires. That is because metals can conduct electricity. We are not making electric wires of any non-metal. Always we use metals. We can use aluminium, we can use copper wires. Also silver also can be used in costly appliances which silver is there. So all this can supply electric current very comfortably, very easily. Here again, some examples. It is repeated here. You can just read through there. So these are all about the metals we have seen. Now we'll move on to the non-metals. Non-metal properties, if we focus on, then we can say they are lesser in number, fewer in number than the non-metals. More metals are there and very few non-metals are there. So certain examples, like we can say carbon. Carbon is a non-metal. Another one, all the different gases like hydrogen, if we can write, oxygen we can write, all the gases are non-metal only. So there are certain elements which are non-metals. Non-metals are comparably less if we do a comparison with metals. Non-metals are less in number. The properties now, they are dull looking. Metals are shining in nature, but non-metals are opposite. They are dull looking, they do not shine. Only one non-metal is there which is shining, that is graphite. Where it is present, you can see in your pencil lead, it is shining because it is made of graphite. And graphite is what? Graphite is a form of carbon only. It is a form of carbon which is shining. So if it is asked, name a non-metal which shines, you will write graphite. Another non-metal which is shining in nature is iodine. Iodine is also lustrous. So these are two non-metals, graphite and iodine, which are lustrous, which are shining. Other non-metals, hydrogen, oxygen, even carbon also. Carbon like coal. Coal does not shine. Uh, Coal is form of carbon. Graphite is also form of carbon. Both are types of carbon only. But one form of carbon, graphite is shining. Another form of carbon, coal is not shining. So that is, you'll learn in higher classes about this. What is the reason for that? So they are dull looking. This is the first property we have done for non-metals. Two exceptions are there. What are the exceptions? Graphite and iodine are the exceptions. They are lustrous, means they are shining in nature. Next one will move now. They are brittle in the solid state. Brittle means they are weak. They can easily break. They are brittle. If they are hit by any object, easily they will break. You take a piece of coal and strike it with the object, with any metal object. If you strike, the coal will break into small pieces. So that is because it is brittle. You take pencil lead, easily it can break. Why is it so? Because it is brittle in nature. They can be easily beaten and converted into small pieces. We can break them into small particles easily. Next is, they do not allow electric current or heat to pass through them. Just now we have seen metals are good conductors of heat as well as electric current, but the non-metals are just opposite. They do not transfer heat, they do not transfer electric current also. But here again one exception is there, that is called as graphite. Graphite is a non-metal which allows the electric current to pass through it. This is the single non-metal which allows electric current to pass, otherwise no non-metal can do the same thing. So that is one exception you have to remember. We can ask this exception in the question. Like question can be asked, name a non-metal which is a good conductor of electric current or which supplies electric current. The answer will be graphite. Similarly, we can ask, name a non-metal which is having a luster, a metallic luster, or which is lustrous. Answer will be, you can write iodine or also you can write graphite. So these exceptions, wherever it is coming, put a mark there. You have to remember these examples. So that is all about the non-metals. Also we have done here, some examples are given like carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. These are solid non-metals. Then we are having only one non-metal which is liquid. What is that? This is also important. Bromine. Bromine is a liquid non-metal. Before that we have done mercury. Mercury is a liquid metal. Bromine is a liquid non-metal. Otherwise, all the non-metals, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, argon, all these are gases only. Only very less solids and only one liquid is there in the non-metals. Remaining all the non-metals are gases only, and we can say all the gases are non-metals only. No gas is there which will put in the category of metals. All the gases are non-metals only, and these gases also include the noble gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. All these are noble gases. They are inactive gases. They do not react with any other substance. That is why they are called as noble gases. And all these noble gases are also in the category of non-metals only. So that is all about the properties of elements. Also we have completed. Next is how we can represent these elements. We can write or denote the elements using the symbols. Different symbols are used, and there are certain rules for writing these. We'll be covering this in the upcoming video. We'll take we'll wind up the video for now. We will go through this whatever we have covered in today's part, the introduction we've seen of the chapter, and then we studied what are elements, properties of metals and the non-metals. This much you have to read and revise. Any doubts you can post in the comment section. Also you can use the Teams app and send a message to me and clear your doubts. So that is all for this video. Thank you.